fængsel på Gamescom, som det her hedder. Vi står ved siden af en herre, som de fleste godt kunne tænke sig at lære bedre at kende. Det skal jeg til nu. Det bliver fedt. So Josh, Fallout New Vegas, crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy fun. It's been a lot of fun working on it, and I hope people enjoy it too.
In the Fallout game, the last game, there was like 3,000 endings. How are you going to step forward from that? 10,000 endings.
There's a lot of endings. One of the ways that we try to improve upon the endings in the game is we have endings for each of your individual companions, as well as every community and organization that you interact with to any significant extent. So in addition to the major factions that you can support or work against throughout the game, it can basically affect all the stuff that you've done with all of your companions and every other little community that you found. So I haven't done the math to figure out exactly how many endings. And in fact, I don't like playing that game because then people are like, really, is that really? But there are a huge number of endings in the game. But it's very important for us at a studio, as a studio at Obsidian, that what you do in the game, the choices that you make are very meaningful and that you can see the effect in the world. So wherever possible, we try to make your choices very impactful.
Is there something in the game that is for you maybe one of the most important parts?
I think the reputation system that we've put in is probably one of the more important aspects because it allows the player to see very strong feedback for what they're doing with various communities. So over time they can see that what they've done has influenced how people treat them. It can be a positive impact or it can be a negative impact. So over time, for example, I was sort of in my current playthrough, I was working against the New California Republic, and eventually they had rangers come after me, and they caught up with me and they say, hey, you better shape up, or the next time I come back, I'm not going to have this conversation with you. And I'm like, okay. And so then eventually they came and I had to kill them. They attacked me. And I'm like, well, I guess I better get in good with New California Republic. So then I went and I saw that a group of them were fighting against Caesar's Legion, which is their group that opposes them. So I helped them and I killed the guys from Caesar's Legion. And now I have a bad reputation with Caesar's Legion, but NCR is okay with me again. And so there's this kind of back and forth with your relationships with various factions that's kind of fun to play with. And I think that people will really get a lot out of it.
How forgiving is the game for maybe a noob who haven't played any games like this before?
Well, it's a little less forgiving than Fallout 3. No, it's a little less forgiving than Fallout 3. We try to make sure that when we tell the player, hey, this is the next step in the story, go this way, that it scales to the player's level of, their character's level, and it's not like too challenging for them. But we do make the overall wasteland a little more challenging if the player decides, you know what, I'm just going to march straight north, or I'm going to go in some random direction. Then it becomes a little more risky for the player, but there can also be great rewards for exploring places that are more challenging. So we've tried to strike a nice balance between, if you're not a super hardcore gamer, you don't have to use, we actually have a separate mode called hardcore mode for the really super experienced players. So if you can want to just turn that off and follow the storyline and only do a little bit of exploration, it's much more forgiving. But if you want to turn on hardcore mode and just go nuts, there's a lot of challenge out there waiting for you.
So with all the possible endings, which is almost infinite, it sounds like, aren't you afraid that it maybe kills the whole mood gaming-wise for some gamers?
Well, I hope not. I mean, I hope that if a person, even if they just play through it once, they'll find a really compelling story. And even if they don't do all the quests, which there are a huge amount of them, whatever quest they do, they'll find engaging characters, really cool storylines, and something that they can take away from it that they feel is really enjoyable.
Okay, cool. So imagine this. I need to find out if you're like a good guy or bad guy when you're playing this game. So imagine you're walking around, bam, 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 in New Vegas. I'm coming along, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Would you blow my head off or high-five me and walk on?
I would high-five you and walk on, man.
Nice.